Hello class. In this video, we will be talking to a health science student. Can you go ahead and introduce yourself?
Yeah, so my name is Nayelie Benitez. I'm a fourth year health science student here at Cal State Fullerton.
Awesome. And what career are you currently interested in?
Currently, I'm interested in pursuing epidemiology.
Awesome. So Nayelie is currently applying to programs in epidemiology and public health. So I wanted to have her speak to you as a class to hear more about how she has prepared for this process of applying to graduate school. So aside from all the mechanics of applying or of taking the GRE, writing the statement of purpose, those things that you are already familiar with, I wanted her to talk more about the experiences that she's had outside of the classroom. Although within the classroom, she has taken this class. So Nayelie, just what is one experience that kind of stands out for you of the many things that you have done outside of the classroom to prepare for graduate school?
I would say my participation in the big data program here at Cal State Fullerton. I feel like that's where the program that really got me interested in pursuing epidemiology and graduate school. Initially, I wanted to go into nursing as a career. And so in high school, I got certified as a nurse assistant. And so I worked in that for a couple years, and I'm still working in the health field. I work as an EMT in the emergency room. But through my different experiences and what I've witnessed in the hospital setting, I realized that I wanted to do more population-based work. So that's why I joined BD3, and through that I've been able to gain skills in like statistical analysis and work on like research-based projects. So that I feel like I would say that's the experience that has like shaped me more towards graduate school instead of nursing.
Mm-hmm. And can you say just a little bit more, like what is that program?
Yeah, so that program is for, I believe, incoming juniors and seniors who are interested in allied health careers, I guess, but more towards focus on big data. So working with big data sets and research. So the project that I'm working on is with Dr. Shirsani. She's a evolutionary biologist, and Dr. Basetta, who's a statistician. And with their help, I've been able to learn how to code, which is something I never thought I would be able to do or would be interested in, as well as like learning how to work with data and analyze it. So, and I have also had the opportunity to do research at USC with a neuroscientist. And so, yeah.
Wow. So it does sound like a very intense program. Did you have to apply for that?
Yes. I don't remember all the criteria, but yes, you do have to have a certain GPA, and you have to submit a personal statement as to what you want to do as career-wise, as well as like what interests you about the program, and more specifically, big data.
So it was kind of like a mini grad school application to join that.
Yes, exactly. Yeah, and it did feel like that because it's a selective program. They only take 6 students, so I feel like I'm not sure that a lot of students are interested in big data, but of those who are, there's only a select amount that they choose from. So, yeah.
Awesome. Thank you. I know you also participated in another competitive program this past summer. Can you tell us more about your experience at UCLA and maybe how that was different from the research that you just described?
Yeah, so at UCLA, I feel like it was more applied. So in big data, I was like, oh, I want to do epidemiology. But then when I was at UCLA, I was like, oh, well, I want to do epidemiology in this area of interest. So yeah, we got partnered with an organization, and we got to intern there since week 1. And that was only 3 days out of the week. And then for 2 of them, we got lectures and got to talk to like professionals out in the workforce in public health. And we really got to ask questions that like we're dying to know about in regards to like, well, we have graduate school, but then what do we do next in regards to like the work force, and what kind of skills they're looking for, and how to not just be a graduate student, but go above of what is expected so that it is easier when you're out in the workforce looking for a job.
Awesome. And so the name of that program was?
The UCLA Public Health Scholars Training Program, and it was funded through the CDC, through the Office of Minority Health. And also we got to go to Atlanta and go to the CDC, which was really cool. Yeah, because for me, I wanted to go into epidemiology, so I got to speak with epidemiologists as well as just get to see what the CDC is. So, yeah.
Awesome. So the first program was a research one that was based here at Cal State Fullerton, even though you got to spend the summer doing research at USC. And then the second one was at UCLA, but it was open to anyone in the country, right? Mm-hmm. It was funded by the CDC, so that's why you got to go there for that. Yeah. Are there any other opportunities that you have been involved in kind of more locally, just here at Cal State Fullerton on campus, or in the local community?
Yeah, so actually through Allied Health Academy, so I did an internship, and then the internship site that I did it at was the Center for Healthy Neighborhoods. Mm-hmm. So the center offers resources to low-income minority families in Fullerton. Well, actually, like neighboring cities as well, because I know I worked with a couple families who weren't from Fullerton, and that one was both like more like community-based, but it was also research-based, because the project that I was part of was collecting data on the families that we spoke with, and I feel like that was another opportunity that I had that allowed me to see like what kind of communities I wanted to work with and why, and really get to hear people's stories and why this type of work is important. So
yeah, that's cool. So you got to work directly with people who live in Fullerton and the surrounding areas to understand what their challenges are to being healthy, right?
Yes.
That's cool. Okay, so those were some great experiences, research and leadership, some competitive, some, as part of an internship. I do know that you've also had some clinical experiences. You did talk about it a little bit. Have you been involved? Have you been working in the health field the whole time you've been in college?
Yes. Actually, before I was in college, I started my senior year of high school, and up until now I have. So yeah. So
the whole time you've been gaining work experience in the health field, and within the past few years, adding on these different research, community, internship type programs. Okay. Lastly, have you been involved in any on-campus clubs or organizations?
Yes. So Allied Health Academy is one of them organizations. So I'm also minoring in gerontology. So I'm part of the Gerontology Honor Society. And through that, I've gotten to actually, because of my minor, I have to get involved with the gerontology field, which is I also think is important, because I feel like the older adults don't really get a lot of, there's not a lot of focus. And then as we've learned in our classes that the baby boomer generation is growing, and, people are just getting older. So I think it's important to know how to work with that group of people, because sometimes it can be challenging, as I've seen as like in the clinical experiences, but that's why I wanted to minor in it, because then when I wanted to do clinical work, I knew that I would be encountering this population. So
yeah. So that I think that's a great point that you're making, that by being in the field, even in a clinical setting, that has informed your decision to study certain things, and your interest in studying certain things has also led you to get involved in like other organizations and experiences. So I guess to kind of close things out, how do you think these different experiences have prepared you to apply for graduate school versus, just taking the classes? Because, it is one thing to go to class and understand the material and do well and whatnot, but what was the difference for you in just being a student, but in comparison to being a student involved in all these different things?
Yeah, I think when we go to class, we learn about certain concepts and topics, but then, you go home and you study it, but it's different when it's applied and you actually get to see the stuff that you're like, when you're out and doing all these things, you're like, oh, that's what my professor was talking about, or, just applying it and seeing how that's how I guess knowledge and education evolves and grows, because you go out and you go through all these experiences and then you go back, and whether you want to improve certain knowledge that's already there through research or just even I know a lot of the nurses at my work want to go back to school because they want to go into public health, because they see what they see, because I work in the emergency room, and they want to go and improve things that are currently not as good as they should be. So I think it's good to be in school and do good, but you also have to go out and apply your knowledge and then also gain from those experiences. And yeah.
I really like how you frame that, because it's really applied. It's not just, do all these things to fill up your resume, right? Yes, it's nice to fill up a resume, but you're doing it with the intention of, this is what's going to inform your future career and make an impact not only in that job that you have, but then in the broader community, right? As you're mentioning, the nurses that you've worked with want to go into public health because when they're on the ground on a daily basis, they're seeing the structural or larger organizational issues that are that have the same people showing up to the emergency room over and over, right?
Definitely. Yeah. And like you said, in regards to being applied, and not just filling up your resume, I think it shows when you are applying to graduate school, if you go and do stuff that you really didn't care for, but you just wanted to fill up your resume, I think it's going to be harder to talk about because you're not passionate about it in regards to whether you start, because I've been able to progress in regards to the opportunities that I've had because I started with my interest, either volunteering, because I also volunteer. Although when I first started, I was at a nursing home, but I wanted to learn more about acute care settings, so I joined the COPE program. And through that experience, I got to see more of what it is to be in a short-term care system versus long-term. And so all of them started as volunteer, and then I was able to progress and do internships, and then up to where I am now. But I think the reason why I feel strong when applying to graduate programs is because all those experiences are important to me, and they also are relatable to my own experiences with the health system and being a minority student and stuff like that. So.
I love that. That's ultimately what I'm hoping that we can accomplish with students in this class and just in general, where they're able to connect what they're learning in class with a future career, but also with their own lived experiences as an individual. Yeah. So thank you very much. I wish you all the best of luck with your graduate school applications. As the students who are watching this can probably tell, you're very passionate about the work that you're doing, and it shows from the different experiences that you've been involved in that it has shaped and informed your future graduate school plans.
Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you.